Today we're getting the 5th update this week, and it seems like the developers of Counter-Strike 2 have brought back something we haven't seen since the days of Global Offensive. The notification that tells you a cheater you reported has been banned. There are quite a few changes in this update, so I'll walk you through everything that's been changed. Oh, and by the way, Bunny Hop is finally fully back in the game with this patch. It's going to be an interesting video, leave a like and let's get started. So let's begin with the changelog of today's update, which actually includes quite a lot, unlike some of the previous updates. First of all, they fixed a bug that allowed you to inspect a grenade right after you had almost thrown it. For example, after you had already pulled the pin. They also fixed a bug related to first-person model delay. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but what definitely wasn't fixed is the third-person model jitter when you turn. It's still visible, especially when watching in slow motion. Also, after this update, Molotovs finally use the correct fire particles. It's not really clear what that means either, and in general, if you throw a Molotov, you won't really notice any difference, but at least it's been patched. Incendiary grenades now play the correct sound, and the same goes for smoke grenades, although it's unclear what was wrong with the sounds before. In the previous video we talked about the change in the size of grenades lying on the ground. They were made bigger to be more noticeable, and the Molotov really is huge now. The same goes for the smoke grenade. Take a look at how much larger it is on the ground. In your hand it's tiny, but when dropped it's massive. The next change is also barely noticeable, but they've improved the interaction between the Molotov sound and its first-person fire particles, meaning, as I understand it, the moment when you ignite the Molotov. Again, it's one of those changes you'd probably never know about unless I mentioned it in the video or the devs wrote it in the changelog. The next 2 points in the changelog are about Bunny Hop, which has finally been fixed, and it actually feels better than ever before. I talked about this in the previous video too, but that was about a separate test branch. Now these changes that appeared yesterday are live in the main public branch, and from what I can tell, this version feels different from the test branch. It might actually be even better than the test branch. Bunny hopping is now genuinely comfortable. There are almost no input issues, at least when bunny hopping with the mouse wheel, which is probably how you do it too. It's much easier now to maintain your speed. They also mentioned that jump input now works from the beginning of its registration, rather than at the end of the subtick input, whatever that means. Today's changelog also mentions changes to the map Jura, which has been updated to its latest version. Although the changelog wasn't very clear about what was updated, still, Valve, thank you for pushing it live. Now let's take a look at how Bunny Hop looks after today's update. Reddit users have already posted clips, and although the footage seems a little sped up, you can still see how successful this Bob update turned out to be. And as I said earlier, it really feels better than it did before they messed it up. It seems like you can get pretty solid speed retention if you want to, although in my case the problem is clearly just lack of skill in bunny hopping. I'm definitely no expert at it. Players are still abusing the FPS lock at 64 though. Of course, no one wants to actually play with 64 frames per second just for bunny hopping, and setting up some bind to toggle the FPS cap is pretty weird. Still, look at this player's bunny hop. He's often able to maintain a speed of 300 units. It's unclear whether he's using the SV auto bunny hopping command though, because with it it's obviously much easier to do that. I'm not sure if this is related to today's update or if it's just the player's own system or GPU driver causing issues. Moreover, one Reddit user reported that on their Ubuntu Linux system player models are disappearing again, just like what happened on July 29th after the major update, where Linux users either had no models at all or couldn't launch the game. It's pretty strange to see Valve let such Linux-related issues slip through, considering how much they usually support Linux. It also looks like a feature has returned to CS2 that we haven't seen since the days of Global Offensive and Overwatch, or at least I haven't. If I'm not mistaken, it used to show up after you submitted Overwatch reports or in-game reports. One Reddit user showed that he saw this message for the first time ever in CS2. It's the one where the system thanks you for helping the Counter-Strike Counter-Strike community, and maybe that means things are finally moving in that direction. Hopefully, we'll all start seeing those thank you messages for reports soon, because let's be honest, you probably report at least one player in every single match. And judging by the way this update looks, maybe the devs will finally slow down a bit and we won't get a dozen follow-up patches next week. Hopefully, they'll start working on something else, like new content. Because as you might remember, hidden files from the last big update showed once again that Winter Cobblestone is in development. New files mean it's still being worked on. We also saw files for Ancient Knight. On top of that, there were new animations for pets and much more that the devs are apparently working on. I really hope we get to see all of that soon, not to mention the remake of Cash, which is also in the works. And here's a quick list from Tower as a reminder of what we should expect to see in CS2 sometime soon. Ancient Knight could really be something special. Hopefully it'll be part of a new mission system. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching the video all the way through. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next damn video.